Hello everybody. Today we're gonna talk about my work experience working at the USPS. And it wasn't the worst job, but it wasn't the best job by any means. Um my time there was very brief. It was around a month, give or take, like a week at the academy and then 3 weeks at the job. Um, and I'll talk about my experience there. Uh, a lot, like I said, like I was there for yeah, like around a month, and I already saw a lot of shit, and but that wasn't what steered me away from the job, and that wasn't the nail in the coffin for me. The nail in the coffin for me was at the time of filming this, it is June 25th, and I'd say, what was it? Friday. So Friday, June 20th, around most of the US, there is like a big heat wave going on. And when I'm doing my route in these old ass trucks, so these trucks are 50 years old, give or take. So they were built in like the 70s or the 80s. And yeah, so like 50, 40 years. They don't have no AC. They have a fan. That's about it. And the fan, when it's that hot out, it doesn't do anything. It's just blowing hot air. Um, but I digress. I'm gonna. Well, I'll talk more about that later. But that was just the main reason why I quit. Um, so starting off, orientation is pretty like self-explanatory. I spent 2 days. I reside in Michigan, so I had to drive down to downtown Detroit and do my orientation there in their big office building. And it was just like standard orientation. It was just kind of like you just in a room and watch some videos, and that's was about it. Not too bad, paid for as well, orientation, so that's good. Then next week, or I think it's like a week or two. Yeah, it's a week later. You start the academy. So I was a CCA, a city carrier assistant, which is in the name. You just kind of drive around cities delivering people their mail or in their packages if they have any. And the academy was pretty chill. Like our class wasn't a big class. It was 6 people, so it felt more personable. And like I don't have any complaints about the academy. The academy paid for as well, so another good thing there. What you do at the academy is you just kind of learn what it means to be a CCA. It's just a lot of delivering mail, the correct protocol or procedure if like somebody's not home, like if you need to collect money, this is how you go about it. That kind of stuff. And they teach you practical hands-on stuff like how to case mail, how to deliver mail, how to drive the truck, stuff like that. So all in all, pretty good experience. And then the job starts. Okay, so you'll have a shadow day. Mine was before my driver's training and the academy. I can say this now because I don't work there anymore. The guy who was training me, very nice guy. But you're not supposed to do this. FYI, you're not supposed to. But on the shadow day, you're supposed to just like, it's in the name. You're supposed to shadow them, and just like you're not supposed to touch or handle them whatsoever. You're just seeing what a CCA does in their day to day. And the guy, he handed me the mail, and he was just like, "All right, start delivering." And I was just kind of like, "Okay, why not?" They tell you that during orientation, though. They're like, "Hey, don't deliver." Like, if they tell you to deliver mail, like, don't do it. I was just kind of like, you know, fuck it, like why not get some experience? But that kind of already tells you like what I'm in for, right? So yeah, come to my first day at the office, and it's like I had 3 days of training, technically four, but you know, we'll get into that later. The 3 days of training, you're just kind of like following CCAs around. I was passed around each day, so like I was training with somebody here this day, then that different and a different person the other day, and then a different person again on my final day. And because of that, all the routes were different too. So like I think that was very helpful just to get a gist of like these are the kind of routes you can expect being a CCA, and they all, you know, function differently, right? Like some are like a park and loop, some are just, I think it's like a drop and go, like you just collect 2 pieces of mail, and like I don't know the exact name, but I didn't like them. Some of them are just like apartments. And I say I had a 4th day of training, but that day, because they wanted to make sure I was prepared to be on my own, and so they were like, all right, we're gonna give you a 4th day of training. I'm like, okay. The training in question was just like I was by my own that entire day. There's a person who's supposed to be with me, but she was like, I don't know why they're giving you a 4th day. I'm gonna drive you to this location, and I'm gonna just like do like I'm gonna see how you deliver the mail, and then I'm just gonna peace out, and you can take it from there. I'm like, oh, all right. So the USPS, my impression so far of it is it's very disorganized, especially for a government job. They tell you that's like such a good job, and like you get so many good benefits, but I see people there that have been there 10 plus years, and they look miserable, and the pay isn't even that good either. So it's like I think you have to be there more than 10 years, or maybe 10 around that area, to fully max out your pay. And then the pay isn't even that much either. It's like 80,000 or like close to that, and I'm just like, that is so fucking bad. And sure, you know, it can be better with overtime and stuff like that, but it's like, if I've been there 10 years, like, I'm not trying to work overtime. I don't know. Well, another thing, being a CCA, mandatory overtime. So, it depends on the office. It depends on the office. But at my specific office, for the first 30 days, you're not supposed to work any overtime. You're not supposed to have the employees work on Amazon Sundays. And the reasoning is you're supposed to ease the new CCAs into it and not have them feel as overwhelmed. And it helps them catch their bearings for the first 30 days, like learn the ropes, that kind of thing. So like you're supposed to be working like an 8-hour shift 5 days a week, like a traditional 9 to 5. But that didn't happen. They had me working overtime. They had me working Sundays. And I'm just like sitting here, I'm like, damn, like they really aren't supposed to be doing this shit. And like the union, she was very lovely, she was very nice. Just like held my hand. Like I trained with her one of the days as well. It was my 2nd day of training. I trained with her. She was very, very, very nice person. And I would tell her, I'm like, hey, like they want me working overtime, and she was like, what? Like they're not supposed to be doing that. So she would like, you know, like yell at management, call management up, and management's like, what do you want me to do? Like, there's nothing we can do. We're short staffed. So you know, we need him out there. And she was very nice. So like, she was like, hey, like he's not supposed to be doing this, like, and they kind of made it her problem, which I felt bad about. So because they're short staffed, they just passed my workload off onto her, and I was like, that's kind of fucked up, but all right. But you know, she was a part of union, like a steward, so she's not always around. So the time that she's not around, they took advantage of it. So they're like, all right, you're gonna work Sunday. You're gonna work. I'm authorizing you like 2 hours overtime. And I'm like, okay. That it kind of sucked. Like it sucked having to deal with that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, but the paychecks are gonna hit. They're gonna be amazing. I got my first paycheck through direct deposit. That was like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, this paycheck ain't even, the amount of work I'm putting in does not reflect what I'm getting paid. And I was like, this job ain't fucking worth it. But I was like, all right, I'm gonna just like stick it out because I'm a college student. I was just kind of doing this for like a summer job. I'm just trying to get like my money up, that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stick it out, you know, like, bear with me. And then came June 20th. The heat that day was like 92, 94. And yeah, the trucks don't have any AC. They don't have any cooling. When it's hot out and you have the fan on, all it's doing is just blowing hot air. And they tell you, like, because we have all these meetings, they tell you, like, hey, just make sure you're staying hydrated. You know, they give you the whole spiel about, like, stay safe out there, yada, yada, yada. When they don't actually care. What they care about is you getting the packages delivered on time. But they just have, they say it because they have to say it, right? So they're just like, yeah, you know, take your breaks, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, like, I mean, I barely got done with my stuff that I need to do. They authorized me overtime, all this, you know, all that fun stuff I was telling you about. But I was just like sitting in the truck, like dying in the fucking heat, like just thinking to myself, like, is this shit fucking worth it? Like, is this really worth it? The paychecks aren't even that good. I have to deal with the fucking dogs. Management is doing management shit, you know, trying to take advantage of us. And the crazy part is like I could put up with all of that. But the nail in the coffin for me is like I can't put up with that fucking heat. I'm not gonna die in this fucking truck for what? Like, for what? Yeah, I was, after Friday, after June 20th, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So like I told them like, hey, this is my final day. I got all my work done, but I quit. Like, I'm not staying here. It just ain't worth it. And they're like, oh, you know, like maybe come in Sunday and reconsider, you know, because all you're doing is just delivering packages that day. I'm like, nope, I'm good, because it's going to be even hotter on Sunday. I'm not doing that. I'm okay. And they're like, okay, you know, job's not for everybody. And then it became like a whole thing of like how like the younger, because I'm 22 and most of the people there are like 40 plus, and it became a whole thing of like, oh, you know, the younger generation doesn't want to work anymore, like they're babies, yada yada. And I was just like, can I just like sign my papers and get the fuck out of here, you know? And the ladies at the front desk were like, no, you can't, we don't have your papers, you're gonna have to come back Monday and we'll have them ready for you. And so then I come back Monday and I walk in towards the end of a meeting, and I guess like some people called off, or like a bunch of people called off because of the heat, and because of that they had to split up a bunch of routes, and they're like, all right, you're only just delivering DPS, delivery point sequence mail, and packages that day. Like, ignore everything else. Like, that's the only thing you're delivering, because like we're short staffed right now. I was like, damn. And because they're so short staffed, they had people who are regular CCAs who've been there for years, who don't work overtime, had to work overtime. They were forcing overtime upon them, which is crazy. So like they were, I think it was like 3 hours overtime, like 11 hours of working. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, fuck no. Like, I'm glad I'm getting out of here. Fuck this place. And so yeah, I was just chilling in the manager's office. They didn't even have my papers ready. So I just kind of found it weird. I was like, this is some bullshit, because they told me to come back and they'd have the papers ready on Monday, and they didn't even have them ready. And all they had to do was just go on the computer and print them out. So they were just making shit more of a hassle than it needed to be. So that's great. But yeah, I'm kind of making this video now because it's just, the heat wave isn't, me not being able to deal with the heat isn't just like a me thing. It's a bunch of other people. Like, I saw a post on Reddit where 11 people had called off, and one got sent to the ER. And then I saw a post today that kind of prompted me to make a video like this, that a USPS worker in Dallas, Texas died from heat exhaustion. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? I know the USPS is getting these new trucks, like, come next year. But we shouldn't be, because most, at least in my area, most of the available vehicles at the offices are those old LLV FFV trucks with like a couple ProMasters, a couple Mercedes vans, which do have AC, but a majority of the vehicles, those old vehicles I'm telling you about, don't. And because of it, people are dying. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a government federal job, and you're just like, whatever, you know. We'll get around to it when we get around to it. So, and I made this video just to say, at the end of the day, your life is more important than a fucking paycheck. I know a majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck because times are tough. But is the job worth it? Is this job worth potentially losing your life over, or shaving off tons of valuable years of your life because of the amount of wear and tear on your body from the amount of walking you're doing and the amount of overtime that you're doing in these harsh working environments, right? And that's what I realized. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting paid more, but the extra $7,500 a paycheck I'm getting isn't worth what I was doing before. I would much rather make less money and be relatively more happy than work at a job I fucking hate and the money doesn't equate how much work I'm putting into the job. With that being said, I hope you guys found this video informative or helpful to some degree. And take care. I'll see you guys next time.